Evening,
Yay.
evening, everyone.
Yeah.
It's sunny here today. I've got my Be Happy t-shirt on,
Yay.
which always makes me happy. How is everyone tonight? How are you doing, Janine?
Doing good. It's a retrograde, and I can really feel the weirdness of retrogrades, but yeah, otherwise good.
What about you, Rachel? You doing
Well,
all right?
we actually have hot weather in the UK, and it is just magical. It's
Good.
the trials and tribulations of life, full stop. But the sunshine coming out really makes a difference in our lives, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful. I managed to go and see my son in uni today, so that was really lovely. So we had a lovely sort of afternoon up by the river, so that was really fun. So all good. Well, Janine, our questions have been changing throughout the day because there's been so many people and so much news coming out at the moment. Most of it really, really positive. So I've sort of rewritten my list about 3 or 4 times. But the first question I'm going to ask about, and I'm going to put my glasses on for this, someone sent me, a chap called Sam, sent me this really interesting video. I don't know if you've heard of it, probably not. But back in the UK in 26th of November, 1977, when they were doing a live broadcast on one of the TV channels in the evening, it got interrupted by a so-called alien message. It was called the Virillion incident. Mm-hmm. And this alien was called Virillion and was bringing a message from the ATTRIBUTION Galactic Command. Now, I've actually, if we want to play it later, but if not, I'll put the link below the video. But they never found out. No one ever admitted to doing it as a hoax, and they never found out who or what had done it and whether it was a real alien or not. But the message in it is really spooky compared to what's happening now. So this was in 1977, and it was talking about the evil leaders taking over the world and deceiving everyone. It was talking about how the governments were trying to lead everyone into the new world order. And it was saying that we wouldn't reach the peace of the age of Aquarius unless people sort of handed in their weapons and stopped our sort of way of behaving as a race. And that some people would be enlightened and some wouldn't, but only the enlightened ones would move into the new age of Aquarius. So it's a really interesting message. So I was wondering if you could ask the cards, is Virillion bringing the message from the ATTRIBUTION Galactic Command, was it a real alien or was it a hoax?
That's a great question. I've actually heard that recording, I'm pretty sure. It was fascinating.
Very relevant for today, isn't it?
Listen to it. I'll put the link below when we post this.
Well, that was actually the year I was born.
Wow. Oh, you're a spring chicken. That's so sweet.
We all are, but we soon will be with beds as well.
Okay, we've got the Wheel of Fortune, the 8. Well, it might have been channeled by someone who was channeling off-worlder, but it wasn't directly. It seems like human voice was used. Because that's like, these are all human cards. I'm not getting any of, but they might have been working with off-worlders. I think they channeled the information, whoever it was, and then wanted to give it impact.
That's really interesting because it was interesting because what they couldn't work out back then in 1977 is how they managed to do that, technology wise, because obviously technology wasn't so advanced then.
Yeah, I wonder if that part was, so that part might have been like sped up and or pushed through by the off-worlders. It was a message given to somebody to give to the humans.
Wow.
So it wasn't directly from them, but it was arranged by the off-worlders.
Wow.
So it was channeled from somebody, or somebody had that maybe they got it in a dream or maybe they contacted, but they didn't want to say that I think, because they didn't want to get laughed out of there. It was for credibility that they used that, whoever said it, they wanted it to seem credible somehow. So maybe they didn't think it would be believable. Or maybe the off-worlders couldn't speak the language exactly the right way or what, I don't know. But they wanted to present it the way they did, it looks like, because they thought it would be somehow more believable.
Yeah. It's a really great message. It's really interesting to think that was back in 1977. And when you watch it, as I said, I'll post the link below. The video is about 6 minutes long, but it's really worth looking at. It's fascinating. It
was definitely like originated from the source it says it did. But then it went through a human to do it.
Perfect.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, they gave it to somebody they'd been channeling to. And that, somehow they broke through. I keep getting this card. So I think they had help getting through to the networks or whatever.
Certainly isn't available these days.
So
it is actually. It's starting.
If they could stop being censored, that would be nice, which is going to lead on. That's brilliant. Thank you. That's quite exciting. Yeah, I'd encourage everyone to watch the video link below. So, yeah, I'll put it in the show notes, or if I can work out how to do a pinned comment, I'll do that, but I'm not that technical. Thank you.
It actually poses a lot of questions, though, doesn't it? I suppose in its own way. Very interesting that it was actually channeled then. That's amazing. Thank you.
So it's given to someone to speak.
There we go. Ooh, God, it's such an exciting world, isn't it? I feel like another child in the sweet shop again. The last question I asked last week was these hidden lands that we were discussing. Now, I think it's called Agartha, and I don't know if that's the right pronunciation for it. I don't know if you've done any more digging into that separately. But anyway, I just wondered if we could ask the cards, when will we get to see these hidden lands that just sound so majestical, and the feeling I get from them is quite amazing.
There's some things being worked out before we can, they're dangerous still. There's still some danger, like somehow it's dangerous. But this card says they're a long way to working that out, or having it so it isn't dangerous. Let's see, Magician and 2.
Just in time for the lockdowns to end then.
It's definitely going to be after the reveal is what I get.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be after. And, I heard recently, like yesterday or the day before, some really good intel. And then I did a reading on it and it looked really accurate, that they already tried to do the emergency broadcast on May 2nd, but it got hijacked by the bad guys. And that ever since then, they've been trying to undo some kind of booby trap or some kind of hijacking situation where they were stopped from being able to emergency broadcast. Now, I don't have a clue how that works, but apparently they're undoing that, and it could be any day for that, which I just so looking forward to.
Oh my God. Perhaps we should all ask for William from the Ashdara Command to help unblock it.
Yeah.
He did a good job last time. But my God, that's such good news, Janine, because that means that, it really is ready to come out. So that's really amazing news.
Yeah. I also heard a weird thing from the UK. So I had a couple people email me, and one in particular, this person emailed and said that your health records are slated to come out unless you get a hold of your personal physician, or like, how on earth is that?
It's been halted. The doctors, I just saw that this afternoon, actually. The doctors have halted it
Why would they do that? Whose idea was that?
Well, the idea is that they're outsourcing a lot of the IT, because at the moment in the UK, if, for example, you have stuff done at your doctor's surgery, or if you have stuff at the hospital, often the computer systems don't talk to them each other. So it can be quite dangerous, because one doctor in the hospital might prescribe one thing and the other doctor might not know. So the ethos, it's a bit like everything from what I understand, and correct me if you know something differently, Rachel, but I used to do this as a job. The idea behind it is to make it much quicker. So if someone gets called into a hospital as an emergency case, any hospital in the country will have your records available. So it's meant to be for patient safety. Obviously, with all the recent leaks and data securities and government giving contracts to their mates and everything, people don't believe it's secure or safe anymore and could be used for nefarious means. That's brilliant. It's been halted. I hadn't heard that, Rachel.
Yes, it was. Here we go. NHS plans to share patient data with private companies are shelved after widespread backlash from doctors, patients and campaigners over privacy fears, which is amazing because, we thought we'd had all our rights taken away from us. So that is really good news. That was on Telegram, the emergency news channel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to improve the system going forward. And that's sort of the start of it.
Mm.
It does look like there's an improvement in the system coming. Brilliant. So instead of your rights diminishing, I feel like it's going the other way.
Mm.
So that's good. I mean, I get how it could be more convenient, but I also think that could be really
risky.
Yeah, I wonder if it should be up to people to bring things to their doctor's attention. Get to know more about your situation instead of just going in there blind. People need to be told what's going on with them, given the information, and then when they go to a new doctor, they should bring it. Like, wouldn't that give us a little more like accountability? Don't we need to be more accountable to our own health and not just put it in the hands and the blind trust of modern medicine? I mean, all the symbols for modern medicine are snakes, for Pete's sake. Okay, it was obviously designed by the dark cult.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though there's good doctors, so I'm not saying there isn't, there's a whole bunch of not good things going on there.
Yeah.
It's designed to be corrupted, if you want my opinion.
It's all a plaster though, isn't it? And
yeah,
Catherine knows this more than anyone, and learning what the vets were doing to my horse initially and how natural things can help. And I've been using vitamin C to help with a tooth abscess. 2 milligrams every 6 minutes for 3 hours, and you can pretty much cure any ailment.
There's so many wonderful natural remedies there. And what I've really loved about this last year is a lot of these have really come to the forefront now, because so many because all these alternative channels have sprung up and started talking about it all. Now they're actually getting a chance to get their message out. So for me, that's been one of the main brilliant things over the last year that I can really see coming forward into the future. So the next question for me, this is a big one. I've had so many people email me about this, and it was something I wanted to ask. So the G7 summit, have you heard of that, Janine?
Yep.
So the G7 summit, which was supposedly a group of the sort of main economic advanced nations consisting of the USA, UK, France, Germany, Canada and Japan. And then this year they've invited as special guests India, South Korea, Australia and South Africa. So it's happening this week. They're all flying in to the UK, not having to quarantine, to Cornwall, down to the south of the UK this Friday. So can the cards, I'm not quite sure how to ask it. I know you're better at phrasing questions than me. What's going to come out of this G7, and are there any white hats that are going to be present there? I suppose that's two questions, but don't know how we want to
We'll
phrase.
we'll just go into it around what's going on with it. 10 and 3.
I wonder why they chose the UK.
It's
Some kind of big
posted
change,
this year.
some kind of big change is coming to it this year, where it really takes a different turn, and a lot of agendas that they've had in the past get questioned, brought up for questioning, put on the chopping block. So I don't know what they've been up to, but a lot of their stuff's going to get questioned and really focused on, okay, is this really where we want to go? Is this really? So a lot of things that they've been discussing in the past are going to not actually come to fruition, which might be a good thing, according to Mike. It goes in a whole new direction this year, a more creative direction. Yeah. And it feels like it's largely because some people intervene on behalf of humans.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is
So
amazing.
that sounds like good, guys. That sounds like.
This is amazing. The two main things on their agenda are the climate change and a global health strategy to deal with future pandemics. So that would be amazing if that all gets ripped up.
It's definitely been infiltrated. That's my Alliance White Hats card. It's been infiltrated, and yeah, they're going to have to be. They might even get called up on some of the stuff.
It's not going to ramp up all the nasty things again, is it?
No, it's the outcome is these guys have a presence there and make themselves known to these players.
Oh, and
right?
one of the other good things is we went out to dinner with our neighbours on Friday, and they have just come back from staying at the hotel where they're all going to be staying. And it's in the most beautiful place in Cornwall. And I have to say allegedly, so they don't sue me, but allegedly it's like 40 towers. Allegedly it was so badly organised there. So they've been doing all these works to prepare for all the leaders coming. And they're all security people there checking the securities, but it's just not ready. So it looks like it might be a bit of a shambles where they're staying anyway.
Hilarious.
Which I think is quite funny.
40 Towers was an episode, well, it was a series.
I loved it.
Oh, did you see it?
I loved it. I love British shows like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good old days. Oh, thank you. That is really, really good news. I think so many people would be so relieved, because there was a lot of worried people about what they were going to come up with there. So,
absolutely. Okay, next question. I suppose it has a few different prongs, and I'm quite interested. Now, we know that they've been messing with our weather for quite a while, and there was this project, I'm going to interrupt, the Project Blue with Beam, just in case it gets picked up, and also the chemtrails as well. So that's been utilised together in order to, but my question is, are these chemtrails similar to the lockdowns being utilised for military activity to arrest people? Are they actually hiding military aircraft or whatever above these chemtrails, etc.? Are they utilising these chemtrails? My question is.
because there's been so many of them over the UK this last month, it's just ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It looks like it's a yes.
Ooh.
That's hidden, and that's a yes.
Ooh.
So they're hiding something with it. They're aces, yeses, and
you know about the DEWs?
dues. No.
The direct energy, I'm going to words in between.
Oh, right.
Weapon.
Yes. Yep.
Big flash of light that they can do from thousands of miles away.
Yep.
Because so I wondered if they're trying to utilise the environment, you know, utilize like they have done with the lockdowns for arresting people, you know, are these chemtrails, are they utilizing that in order to hide the military aircrafts?
There's also some being used for healing. So that's interesting. This is a healing card. So to undo some of the bad chemtrails, which is fascinating.
Now, oh, interesting. Somebody said that that they are putting these awful chemtrails on, but then the good guys are going in behind and neutralizing them. Now, I wasn't sure whether we had enough manpower for all that anyway, but I mean, sorry, I'm asking loads of questions. So. Sorry, Catherine.
No, because I've had so many emails about that. Jane, there you go. There's some good ones out there as well, but possibly still some bad. But I think a lot of people are very concerned because they do seem to be everywhere at the moment. I mean, we don't normally get them over where we live, and the last few weeks they're just every day.
Well, should we ask the question if they're healing? Is that what they're doing? Are they neutralizing these chemtrails then? Is that?
Yep, that's what they're doing. So it's saying these guys have had to surrender to, they couldn't stop all the chemtrails for some reason. So they did something, because this card's everything works itself out better than you expect. So I think that the word neutralizing would make sense to that.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, this is good news, isn't it, Janine?
So I think that intel is correct. What you got from somebody.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's the lady that has the emergency news channel. She has lots of different channels actually, and she covers so much information. And I've forgotten to write her name down. Caroline, I can't remember.
There's so many people bringing some really good info.
Really?
I'm just thrilled. Yeah, it's thrilling.
I think this has just been so wonderful about how people have really stepped up to the mark and everyone's done their bits. I mean, the last few weeks in particular, I've had so many wonderful people sending me so much because like you, Janine, you haven't got time to look at it all. And I think, you know, everyone is really playing their part in terms of, you know, forwarding things onto Telegram channel, telling people. And it's so lovely to see because it is like the rise up of the good people that refuse to be battered down. So it's so encouraging to see. It really is. Yeah. The next one is a little bit dodgy to talk about. So we mentioned a few weeks ago, and, you know, we don't like any fear mongering at all. But a few weeks ago, obviously, all the videos started appearing on the internet of magnets sticking to various spots on the body. And then over the last sort of couple of weeks, there's been other ones of ones sticking to people's heads, for example, particularly over the third eye. And then, so I have it on very good authority that a mutual friend of all of ours now, who hasn't had the Jabberwocky, who hasn't had the thing up the nose, might pick his nose, but hasn't had a swab up there, and doesn't, you know, live with anyone that has. But a couple of them, the magnets started off sticking to the third eye, and then over the next 24 hours, then started also sticking to other places on the face. And I'm just wondering if we can ask the cards, you know, well, I don't think if they can say what is it, but, you know, anything they can tell us about that, because we've got no idea where it's coming from or why. Some good doctors have done some videos on the nanoparticles and nanoelectrics in this technology that isn't meant to be put into humans, but have. But then these people haven't really had a way physically it can get into them, although they could have breathed it in or eaten it or drunk it or...
Well, there were reports of it in the water system or something, and I thought that was more fear-mongering more than anything.
Very strange. It doesn't look like whatever's happening with that mutual friend is going to turn out bad for him. So whatever's happening with why he's magnetic is going to work itself out, because this card says literally work itself out.
Of course, it could be.
It's almost like it's almost like he was supposed to bring this to the public eye.
Mm.
Almost like he's being used by good people. This is kind of weird. I'll just say it's weird. He's being used by good entities or good people, and to bring something to the attention of people.
I wonder
So
if it's anything to do with enlightenment, or
I was thinking
because he's gone through stages.
Yeah, it's definitely not for bad. Like whatever's going on with him, it doesn't mean he's unhealthy or there's something wrong with him.
Right.
So that magnetic reaction that's happening to his face somehow is good. I have no idea why. But everything's saying no, it's good.
Couldn't it? It could be, could be all sorts of good reasons in terms of easier for them to get downloads or something. I mean, it could fit in, Janine, with what you said before about even some of the stuff of the Jabberwockies, that there's a twist in it. So there could be a really good twist here somewhere for people.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I wonder if there's something changed in his energy field that's creating that reaction.
Mm.
Wow.
Fascinating. I'll have to reach out to him, actually.
And it'd be really interesting for anyone watching the video. I mean, my email address is always below, and I'd just be really intrigued, because if it does happen to you, it's not necessarily anything to worry about.
Yeah. It's very funny. Yeah. It doesn't look devastating or bad, or it's good. This is a healing, nurturing card.
Mm.
Oh, that's such good news. I bet he's utterly relieved. Bless him.
Wow, so strange. Yeah, like every time I do readings on all the fears going around that, what's going to happen there, I never get that. Okay, it's not going to be devastating. I'm sticking to it. You know what I mean? Like we need to, don't manifest that by talking about it, fearing it, freaking out about it. Humans are powerful. We're powerful if we all decide that's not going to be the case. It's not going to be the case.
I agree. We can choose. Sorry,
decide it is, right?
I think we're losing Janine.
Sorry, we lost you there. No, I didn't mean to talk over you. It's just there's a real delay today on the Zoom.
Okay. Am I there yet? Or did you lose?
You're back.
Yeah.
I think it's so important, because we can all, we can, through human consciousness, we know through physics that we can change the reality. So I agree with you 100%, Janine. We don't focus on any of that, and focus on a good outcome from it, because we're seeing all the bad plans being overturned. So there's no reason why they should be any different.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's really good. And I know he'll be watching, so he'll be really, really pleased.
Right.
I wonder if this Friday event is going to be like a big thing then. Do you think it's going to kind of fall over the next week or 2 weeks? I'm just wondering around that. Could we ask a little bit more as to what's the outcome from it? Is it going to give a big splash of something? Because I know that you've said that it's with the agendas, there's a couple of agendas that are going to be scrapped. So I'm hoping that this global warming nonsense that's been going on for years now is essentially going to be scrapped. But is there going to be a big splash? Because I know we've been saying for a long time June was going to be quite a big month. I wonder if
I don't know if it'll show itself quite like that. But see this too here, things are going to be tabled and put on hold, because the agendas are going to get, like, eventually I keep getting, everybody's going to step away from all of these new one world order, new world order, whatever. All of these globalist agendas are all going to get stepped away from. And I'm thinking largely in June. I know it sounds wild, but I really feel like this is the pivot. Like, even if it's on the background, all of it gets stepped away from, because things are coming out literally daily, like in avalanches. like avalanches of information. I've noticed that a lot of really credible truthers seem to have their gag orders have come off or whatever. And they're like giving her, like there was a woman in the States. She is absolutely brilliant. I can't remember her name now, but I talk about it. I think I might have shared it on Twitter recently too. Yes, I did. And she is actually testifying at tribunals against Mr. B and Mr. S, the guy, and she says both of them. So S, the very wealthy bazillionaire, it starts with an S, George, that guy. Okay, so she was personally trafficked by those two. Like I shared it on Twitter, okay, her story, and she completely names them and calls them out. Like stuff like that's dropping daily. That's like eye-popping. The Fauci stuff's all coming out. Like this stuff's not, they're not going to be able to contain it. These people are outed. She's at the tribunals and says that those two are actually off the earth plane. They've been dealt with, but they're filming tribunals with doubles so the public can see.
Yeah.
Okay, so she gives all this information about these tribunals. She can't say where they are yet. So they're starting to, like, avalanches of information is coming out. I really feel like this is going to take all those things off they're just faking it till they make it here.
It feels
really close.
It feels really close to me.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Halting agendas. I hope so.
So talking always leads so nicely on. Talking about the next one. So Scott McKay did a really good interview where he said, just this was very recently, where he said he'd seen photograph evidence that Princess Diana is definitely alive and looking amazing.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So my question is one, I die. Really can't wait to meet you. But apart from that, do William and Harry, what do they know and what's their involvement in this? Because there's so much is coming up, obviously, about them, isn't there? Oh, by the way, congratulations on your baby.
Yeah, right. Okay. So we've got Justice and 4, 10, and well, at least one of those or both are facing justice. Mm-hmm. So these, honestly, I think all the senior royals, and that includes William, for sure. I don't know if we include Harry in that, but William for sure, are in some kind of really big trouble and or been taken off the earth plane, similar to the S guy and the Mr. B guy in the same way. I think that's happening. And so this card says they've reached the end of their line. That's an end to, and they were an end to their reign for sure, and reign of terror, as like those guys have been compromised, the whole family. Like people can't keep fooling themselves. Williams right in there, like I don't know, like I think they're all compromised and they're all on the bad side. And I even did recently a look at Princess Diana and her stepping back out again, and I got that, and people always ask, well, didn't she tell her kids and what was happening? What I got, and it was kind of hard, and it'll be hard to say because some Brits won't like this, and a lot of humans that love the royals, they're not going to like this, but she said that her boys were already owned by the firm and being programmed, and they didn't really belong to her anymore, and she knew what was coming for them. And she had to do that to eventually end this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it takes nerves of God steel more than, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. I think she was literally had no choice, really. Think about it. They were going to take her out, and they're nobody to mess with. Right?
I think she was at the wedding.
Yeah, lots of people say that. Like, what was that woman doing all by herself, looking like that? She looked just like her. Yeah. So what would she be doing all by herself at a wedding like that? And nobody knew who she was. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it was at Harry's, wasn't it? The latest one. Yeah.
Was it Harry's or was it?
It was Harry's. It was Harry's wedding.
Okay, oh, isn't that interesting?
What I always thought about that is like, if all of us are looking at the TV and seeing that, then surely the black cats would be suspicious and it would be incredibly risky.
I think they've already by that wedding, the black cats already, they already told the royals what was coming for them.
Yeah.
Hadn't Mr. T already been there?
Yeah, he'd already done his walk in front of Queenie.
Right? Like, I think that stuff's true. That whole story about the timeline that Charlie Freak lays out, that's real. I've done several readings on it. It's true. It's all going to come to light soon. Let's hope tomorrow.
Really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I
know. It's getting irritating, I got to tell you.
I wonder if it was her at the wedding. I mean, there were loads of photographs, weren't there, of her being there?
Who's that?
Princess Diana.
Let's ask. I've never asked that.
Certainly looked like it to me, but then equally look at all the disguises. Apparently she's been dressed up as Melania, so... And they're very different.
That's wild. That's like, what?
I love Melania, though, so long as Melania's all right, because I love Melania.
Oh, she's brilliantly gorgeous, that woman. Oh, my goodness.
Amazing.
She's beautiful.
Okay, so Knight of Swords and the Emperor. Okay, so that wedding was largely visited by Alliance and White Hat operatives. Okay, I'm thinking she's one of them. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I completely agree.
Yes, she was there.
Yay! It was her. Oh my God.
Okay. That whole wedding might have been part of the movie, you guys. This is what's so wild. They might have been using those guys because I always get they're just a brand.
Yeah.
They've been using them to take down the royal family and really bring out all this stuff. I mean, it couldn't have been more obvious when Meghan was walking with that purple dress and the red coat and her bump literally falls between her knees. And they got that's all over the world photographed. Like they're trying to out all of them. Yeah. Because when I do readings on Catherine, I don't get she had any of those babies for real.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, if you go to my uncensored, I say a lot more than that. So it's like, you better watch out.
It's on my list this weekend. I've been so wanting to watch that episode with you and Jean-Claude on the uncensored. It's literally just been lack of time, but I'm watching that this weekend because that's the one I really want to listen to.
When the people find this out for big time, it's going to be devastating. It's like, oh my goodness, the whole thing is a charade of falseness and it's absolutely made up.
Wow, I am blown away.
But unicorns are real. I know.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
They live in that Agatha land. I'm going to see them. Yeah.
Do you honestly think that?
I think they're unicorns in Agatha. I do think they're there. Yeah, I do.
Wow.
And I'm
going to be right.
Yeah. Stranger things happening.
Where on earth did they come from anyway? Were they like Disney creation? Like,
I think long before that.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Don't know really, but
I ask the cards. Are they real?
Let's have a look. I can't remember if I ever did a reading on that. I don't think I did.
Sorry, I'm stealing questions. It's not fair.
It would make me cry if it comes up with the wrong answer.
Okay, so they're other dimensional. And so yes, in a way they are real. And if you wish hard enough or believe in them, they will appear to you. And that's why children will see them easier because they're more trusting and like that. But they're from a different dimension. So they're just, they exist on a different level, sort of, or whatever, or consciousness.
Oh my goodness me.
Oh, so
Well, that's kind of exciting, but I've just, it was just a fantasy, beautiful, lovely.
Yeah, maybe you saw them in your dream time or something, and so you got really attached to them.
Exactly.
Well, they are lovely.
Yeah. My daughter always saw fairies and was absolutely into the fairies. And I recently had a wonderful reading with a Scottish woman, wonderful gal, and I talk about it on my Sending Ravens channel. And ever since I shouted her out, she's so busy that she basically had to go into hiding, I think. The poor thing. Yeah, she's lined up for a year is what I heard. And so everybody needs patience. She asked me to tell everybody to have patience with her. Anyway, she said my daughter was from the fairy people. And it's so interesting because she loved fairies. I even have a note from her she wrote. It said, "Tell me the truth, Mom. Are fairies real?" And she put it under her pillow and I found it. "Tell me the truth." Oh man.
Oh, that is so lovely. I think fairies are real.
No. It said, "Tell me the truth, fairies. Are you real?" That's what it was.
Yeah.
She put it under her pillow for the fairies to find. Because, I would leave her things under her pillow from the fairies.
Yeah.
But she wanted to know, are they real? And she was asking the fairies. It was so
lovely.
She loves them. Yeah.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
Your turn, Rachel.
No, I just asked about the...
Oh, you've just asked about the phrase. Okay, so my next one then is, how can I phrase this? Okay, so there's lots coming out about little Weasel Man AF. And there's lots coming out about him, but a few people, and I tend to sort of feel a bit on the same lines, if I'm being honest, feel that the whole thing about the China lab and the origin, etc., could be a bit of a red herring in terms, because the real fraud is the PCR test not showing anything, because the PCR test, all the doctors very clearly say it can't diagnose anything, could never be used to diagnose everything. So will the fraud around Weasel Man and the PCR test come out soon?
What do you mean by PCR test?
The test that they do to supposedly tell people whether they've got the V or not.
Oh my goodness.
But
so that's all
completely
false.
corrupt. It doesn't show anything. It's an amplification test, not a diagnostic.
It's all an illusion, this says. So the whole thing is a great big illusion.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the 5. Things are all coming out. Yeah, they're absolutely coming out. So secrets, all the secrets around the illusion. Yeah, and somebody's going to really out him. Well, a woman has been, but we know that was probably that there was that woman that used to work with them. She's going to start, her stuff's going to start being believed is what I get, because she's been bringing truth since day one. The one that he got put in jail and all these things just to shush her up, because he's a fraud right from the get-go. He's a criminal, actually. The stuff he pulled.
Catherine did an interview with her.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman, and she
isn't that awesome? Yeah, it's felt like her.
Yeah.
So her stuff's real. You want to know truth about him? Just go to her and listen to what she says. She knows it all.
Yeah, because the trouble is, at the moment, the way they're doing it is, if everyone did start having problems the next winter, it would still be believed that it was another release of a thing. Whilst actually, if they realised that the whole test was fraudulent, and therefore the whole thing was fraudulent,
that's coming out.
Good. It needs to. Oh, hallelujah. Oh.
Maybe that's part of the everybody stepping away from the narrative that I keep getting. Like they drop it about mid to late June, like a hot potato, because something makes it like a topic nobody wants to align themselves with, because they're going to end up with indictments against them and in trouble. Just like that Canadian woman that says she's was assigned by the White Hats as an interim sort of ruler of Canada or whatever. Like, a lot of people don't like the idea of that, but I liked her ideas, let's just say. I liked what she was saying. I don't know about her personally, but I liked what she was saying anyway.
Oh, she's been through such an ordeal there, hasn't she, Catherine?
Oh, you're talking about, yeah, we were
Yeah.
was talking
Oh, sorry.
about, we'd moved on to someone else. Yeah, she
Yeah.
has, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you'll
Get the memo on that one. Okay, next question. Moving on swiftly. Okay, so food shortages. Now, obviously, there's the supply chain, isn't there? So we get the bottles from here, we get the milk from here, we get the whatever it is that, you know, the whole thing comes together because of the supply chain. And I'm wondering whether the supply chain is going to be cut from China. And I wonder if it's really going to start affecting, I suppose, food hitting our shelves, etc. So could we ask the cards? Are you already doing it?
Yes. So that was one of the things that the dark cult wanted to do. They wanted to, there's all kinds of information about this actually. So they wanted a false, F word that flaps in the wind situation around UFOs, bad guys coming here, gonna wage war on the world from off world. Okay. So a false situation like that. They wanted that. That's been changed. And that's been taken out of the agenda. They also want the shortages. There's already been some in various different places in the world. They wanted massive flooding. They're not going to get nearly as massive as they wanted. They wanted all this stuff, and it's all been. They wanted, first of all, the situation with the illness to be way worse. And right when that first came out, I got that they somehow that. The bug that they created or whatever, the manipulation, was not nearly how they wanted it, and it had a weakness to it that was not going to do the devastation they wanted. So nothing's working for those guys, but they're being outed on all their dastardly plans. So we get to see what they had planned. Okay, so you're still going to hear these fears. They wanted the Jabberwocky to do all these things to you and take out the rest that weren't taken out. Okay, that's not going to be the case. I don't see that. Yeah. So that's just my opinion. But every time they try one of these things, it always looks like it's not going to be. Yes, you're going to see intermittent. We've already seen it. There's shortages from meat plants here. There's shortages. There was shortages in gas. There was they were trying all kinds of things.
I think somebody filmed, someone had put some plastic sheeting in their truck in America.
I saw that.
See that?
That was absurd.
He went around the corner.
And so dangerous.
Yeah, he filled it full of petrol or diesel, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
The whole of his back of his, completely open. And, as he goes around the corner, it's just the whole swimming pool kind of moving out of his truck. But
unbelievable.
I asked that question because Mr. Poole said that the shelves were empty to get supplies. So not as a fear mongering, but as a, I think we should stock up.
I think it'll absolutely, you'll notice things for sure. It'll be nothing like what they had planned, which is they're going to starve us all to death. I mean, it's not like that, but there's going to be inconveniences. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm growing enough food for a community here.
Yeah.
I'm giving
and it's so good that maybe it's encouraging people to think like that. I mean, I have a niece who they moved recently. They bought a piece of land because of this whole lockdowns and all these ridiculous. They bought a beautiful piece of land on a lake and changed their whole lifestyle. They're getting chickens, a donkey, I don't know why a donkey, but a donkey. They just want a donkey, and they're like
it
literally
Christmas?
going.
They need two
Christmas.
donkeys. They must get 2 donkeys because they really need
Okay.
to live with another donkey.
I'll let them know.
The nativity play for Christmas.
What's that?
The nativity play for Christmas.
Yeah, that's it. They're absolutely growing a huge garden. Like they already started it. Like it's like good for you. I've seen
Wonderful.
more people think along those lines, and I think it's good. We need to think about what can we do so we're not at the hands of criminal deep state players like we've been, and we'll never put ourselves in that position again. That's on us. We have to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Make sure that politicians don't get that kind of power ever again. Make sure we never give our power, our spiritual power away to spiritual leaders. They're pretty much, I haven't met a good one yet, so that's just me. I mean, I'm sure there are some. Okay, but I'm skeptical about anyone who thinks they're a spiritual leader. People try to make me into their guru. I'm nobody's guru.
Mm.
Figure it all out for yourselves, everybody. Take responsibility for your soul, your health, your families. Let's start pulling up our socks a little as humans and stop giving all our power away because we're too lazy to figure out how to do stuff ourselves.
Yeah.
Where are we going to be in that position again? Sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say, so it's just the delay today. It means we'll all talk over. We're not being that rude to each other, honest. I think that's such an important message, Janine, because there's so many people, you even get on the comments of the videos where everyone just wants to be spoon-fed every single answer.
Yeah.
And they know what's right for them. They know what to believe. If you don't like, as we said before, if you don't like people's messages, that's absolutely fine. You have free will not to listen. You know, it's good if you have an opinion like that and you decide no, but don't throw the negativity at it and shoot the messenger, because I think there's been so many positive things, a lot of negative, but so many positive things like this, as you say, with people looking at how they're living their lives, what they don't want to happen, and that's the first step in terms of them looking, then deciding, well, this is what I am going to create in the future. It's really magical. And it's Mr. T's birthday on Monday.
Is it really?
Yeah,
T's birthday, which coincides with the day my dad passed away last year, actually, and I didn't even know it was the same day.
Wow.
I think my dad's got some very wise advice for him, so I'm sure he'll be helping him out. But I think June is the amount that's coming out over the last few days even is just off the scale, isn't it?
Mr. T also gave a really coded message in his last speech. Somebody decoded it for me. It was like he was talking about Chinese furniture and how badly sort of sometimes haphazardly they build it or whatever, which could be referring to the dam. Okay. And that, it breaks when you sit on it or something like. Anyway, it was pretty clear that dam's going down or already did, and we just don't know about it, or like it's imminent. It's like, yeah. That speech was loaded with stuff, I think.
Yeah. There was a quote today, actually. The orange man is returning.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered, is it possible to ask the cards? I mean, obviously we know who the orange man is, but Mr. T, is it possible we can just around that point? Oh, this is so super exciting, isn't it?
Yep. He's looking at, so within 3, that could be weeks even. Let's hope that's hours or days. And
well, it's swords, isn't it? Isn't it swords that are faster? Are they swords?
Wands and swords are really fast, and pentacles and cups are slower. Well, wands are really fast too, because they're as fast as fire. Fire is fast. Right? Swords are thoughts and words, and this is fire. So either of those could be like an inspiration even, or having a feeling about someone, because it's something that's naturally occurring, like an attraction or a repulsion of someone. That's really fast too, right? Okay, so because wands are the element of fire.
Wow.
So it looks like they're looking at several dates in the next 3, that could be weeks. So a lot, Steve Bannon let it slip that it was August 15th he'd be inaugurated on that date, or officially back in the saddle. So that's interesting. And some people are thinking sooner even. So like July 4th, some people are saying it. So all kinds of things out there. Who knows if they're just putting those dates out there to confuse the bad guys? But I really think it's imminent. Yeah. And there's also a very powerful woman that a lot of people love going to maybe step out with him, or so that might be the Diana reveal.
Ooh.
Right.
I mean, that's just so lovely, isn't it? Because she really was this beacon of light in so many different ways to the UK, and I think also for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
The work that she was doing. It's quite magical to know that she's coming back, you know, and all those people who did love her, and I suppose still do, because the newspapers, anytime, I mean, she's been in the newspapers so much recently.
I noticed that. Yeah.
And you know, it's like it's so important, because with all this reveal, when you've got someone like her and everything she personified and always did when we thought she was with us, amazing.
Are we losing Janine again?
Will she be able to really lend a lot of truth to?
Yeah, we lost you then. Should
Oh,
we?
shoot.
Oh,
I
that's
think
it.
She'll share a lot of truth too.
To a lot of the rumors that have been flying around about the firm and the royals. I mean, she could lend a lot of truth, because the Brits are going to need some real solid evidence to let go of their monarchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Massively so. And because everyone, you know, for when she supposedly died, that's when, ever since then, everyone's been so protective over William and Harry. So no one would ever see any bad in them, because they've been through that as children. And so everyone was so nurturing and protected to them. So I think, but people will believe her. I honestly think that the vast majority of the people would believe what she said. So she's going to be a huge part of the reveal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that was so good. That was so good, Janine.
I can't believe unicorns are real.
I knew they were.
We got the same thing about Bigfoot. When I looked at Bigfoot, he was other dimensional, and he'd come in and out of the dimension depending on who needed to see him or whatever, or her. I'm not sure if maybe there's multiples.
Yes, there are, because things like that, it's funny, there's never been any doubt in my mind, whereas I haven't seen, well, I don't think I've seen aliens. I might have, but I might not have realised. I haven't seen any obvious looking ones. I've definitely seen things like Bigfoot and unicorns and fairies. So, but yeah, Janine, honestly, every single week you do it for us. You uplift us so much. So thank you so much. And next week, I think you can make it now, can you?
Yeah, I can.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we changed the date because my son wants to stay in town for his 18th birthday.
Yay!
Oh, wow.
The party with his friends on July 1st. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. 18. Wow. He's a young man.
Yes, exactly. Adult by 18, isn't it?
Yeah, in Calgary or Alberta. But if he went to Vancouver, he wouldn't get to celebrate with it, the way he wants to celebrate, have a couple of drinks and stuff. He wouldn't get to do that until he's 19. So he decided to stay in town.
Oh, clever boy. And I just wanted to finish with saying I absolutely loved your day out with Ashley and Guy. It was such fun watching that, and it was so nice to you.
Okay, I'm only going to say this. Guy needs to learn how to photograph women.
Oh,
I had the worst outfit on too, looking like a tent in that. I'm really not that big, guys.
You didn't. You didn't.
It was amazing.
My ego was mortified by some of those shots. I got to tell you.
Oh,
Like, dude, you got to get from up here, not like side from the back. Yeah, it was horrifying. But so my ego was a little hurt but the energy of it was really sweet.
It was so lovely.
But amazing. But I know what you mean. That's why there's never any pictures of me, because honestly, I think my husband has had lessons in how to take the worst possible photo of a woman.
Yeah, you can be a filmmaker and but not a human photographer. Okay, there's difference. So I'm just gonna say that for the record, but
no,
he did capture the mood and the sweetness of, you know, what
lovely.
he could get up to in a day. So that part was good.
It was lovely. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a real feel-good factor. So thank you.
And just before this meeting, actually, I saw this on my windowsill, so I thought I'd show you. This is shungite, but this is so it's not a stone, is it? It's a mineral. Is shungite.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not. But it's this is the EMF protection that he's talking about, because a lot of them are quite shiny.
Yeah,
they're more expensive like this, which is quite bizarre. Anyway, it reminds me of Superman.
Interesting. Okay,
he's real as well, Rachel. So anyway, thank you so much. Have a brilliant week. Keep sharing all the news, everyone. Sunshine out for all of us. So have fun. See you next week.
Right on. Enjoy the sun, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you.